Well, hello. Welcome to the Dorks Deduction. I am the Right Honourable Chris Bridge, hello. And right here we have Lord Matt. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine this fine sunny afternoon.
Tremendous. Marvellous. I'm going to stop speaking like this now because I don't actually know enough banter from cheerful old England. So, hello again. Yeah, how have you been, Matt?
I've been fine, although I was lying when I said it was a sunny afternoon. It's bloody grey.
It's a bit dingy. Yeah, the same here, so, because I'm in the same room, so it's quite dingy, quite wet. Yeah,
the window we're both looking out of.
It's slightly open, but always ajar, you know. Yeah. Quite a depressing day, really, but hey, no worries.
But we've come to make our listeners' day a bit more brighter.
Bit drier.
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys, you know, right now you're soaking in a puddle. But we're here to make things a little bit drier.
Yeah, we're going to be the towel that wraps around you.
Yeah. Oh, if you want a bit of water, though, we'll make some luscious sounds with our voices to really get those buds going. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, to be honest. But enjoy is what I'm trying. It's the Crocs.
We shall lubricate you. That's what we should do.
I couldn't have said it better, actually. Yeah. Not too bad day, actually, to be honest. And other than that, I'm just super tired. I actually went to see a secret screening last night of a new film.
Yeah.
The Odeon does this thing where you see a film that you don't know what it's going to be for £5. It's cheap. And we saw this film called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. Wow. It was actually a really good film, but it's very hipster. Very hipster, yes. So
Annie might like that then.
Oh yeah, well I'm not saying it'll turn you off if it's
that kind of thing.
Oh yes, of course.
I wouldn't mind it maybe because I didn't mind Portlandia.
No, it's very hipster characters, but don't let that put you off because the characters are quite warm-hearted. Especially this character called Earl is one of the most realistic characters there is. But it's a very heartwarming film, and you do get into it if you give it a chance. I think it's going to be quite a big hit when it does come out, but not super big. I mean, it's coming out at the wrong time for that anyway. It's a more thought-provoking film. It's all about these characters and how they interact with each other. Without spoiling too much, it's basically about the girl who has got cancer, and she's in high school and she's dying. But it's all about the other two. They're the main characters and their relationship with this girl who, you know, he's kind of forced to make friends with her because his mum says she has to do so. Then they become real friends, and it's really nice, yeah.
Are there adverts out for this yet?
I literally didn't even know about it until... I know Will said he's heard about it, and it's supposed to be good, but...
I vaguely remember seeing an advert that
you do?
Sounds a bit like that story.
Yeah, and it's quite an unknown cast as well, I think, but they're very young, and so it's kind of been kept under the radar.
Yeah.
But it's got, for all those Walking Dead fans, Shane is a teacher in it, and he's such a great teacher. But other than that, there's very few actors I can actually place. Oh, one notable one, though, is the father is played by Nick Offerman, who you might know as Ron Swanson.
Oh, yeah.
Out of Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
He's amazing, really amazing. Other than that, yeah, it's a good film. Check it out if you get a chance, guys. Yeah, but other than that...
I'm going to try and give that one a watch.
I've just been working other than that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I did watch last week.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but it's Last Man on Earth.
Last Man on Earth? Oh, I feel I should. Go on.
It's Will Forte. I don't know how you
Will Forte.
say it. But he used to be on Saturday Night Live, and it's got... Did you watch 30 Rock?
No, but I've been meaning to get into that.
What's her face called? It's
Tina Fey?
No. It's she played a relatively minor character, actually, in 30 Rock. But, she's... it's Kirsty something. She's American.
Kirsty.
But basically, what it is there's been some kind of thing that has happened that these are the last two people on Earth at the moment, or so you're led to believe. And so it's basically how they get on being the only two people left alive, or as they believe. So it comes to the part where they're completely different. She's a complete clean freak, and he's a bit of a slob. And it comes to there's a point where they realise they have to breed if they want to keep the human race going. And they're really not keen on that because they're not too keen on each other. So it's quite uneasy, but it's also quite funny because he goes to the toilet in the swimming pool. That's just the way he does it for some reason. And he has all kinds of weird things that he does. Like he likes playing tennis in his hallway and stuff like that. It's just really odd.
Yeah.
And at first she doesn't like that whole kind of thing, but then she starts shitting in the swimming pool as well. And what they do is they just you know the thing you put on a cover you put over like swimming pool sometimes.
Yeah.
What they've done is basically just cut a hole in that, and that's how they go to the toilet. And I think this is so weird. And but the episode I watched most recently, they get married. It's more kind of a marriage of convenience than anything. I don't think they've started to get on a bit better, but it still feels like they hate each other. But what complicates things is that another woman turns up. Because he's posted signs all over billboards saying where he lives, because just in case there is anyone else alive. And so she comes to this place, and she's really good looking as well, obviously. And it kind of creates a bit of tension because he really likes her. But obviously he's married to this woman who, I don't want to say ugly because that's harsh, but she's not as good looking as this woman.
She's the clean freak, right?
Yeah, as well. Yeah. She's a bit odd as well, and this woman's like, as you might imagine, like a perfect woman is in a kind of TV series. It's kind of that kind of generic idea. But he shaves for this woman and everything. He's been sporting this Jesus beard up until this point. And but then the woman he's married to starts telling her how he shits in the pool, and he's there saying, "No, don't say that. You could have." And she's just spoiling it for him.
Yeah.
And he dreams. Well, he has nightmares about who he's married to, and it's so weird. It's like in this dream, she's just sitting on the toilet. It's really odd. It's on Dave at the moment. It's kind of. I think it's because my uncle told me about it, and I haven't watched it from the beginning. Yeah. So I think it's something I'd have to watch from the beginning to truly get, because it's one of those programs. It's quite quiet.
Oh, I see.
There'd be quite a lot of moments of silence in it, which I don't mind, but it can be a bit odd when you're watching television sometimes. I prefer watching like on DVD or laptop, because like you hear it better on that.
I think I understand, yeah. One of those kind of drama programs, but it's quite quiet. But it sounds quite fun. I mean, like, you think to yourself, if you're the last two people on Earth, or even three, you wouldn't really give a shit about what the others do, because you got enough space and stuff, you know?
Yeah, but... Yeah, but it is funny. It's a bit dry at times, but it's really... Kirsten Shaw is the person.
Kirsten Shaw. All right. Yeah, I like her, actually.
Yeah. She's good in 30 Rock, but I also saw her... She was on the Great Big Fat Quiz.
Yeah.
Last year, was it, I think?
I think it might have been.
Oh, no, the year before, because last year was Mel B, wasn't it?
That was such a train wreck.
Yeah.
Well, not a train wreck in a sense. For her it was, because...
She didn't come off well, did she?
No, she's not used to that type of humour, or is she just not funny? Or
I kind of felt was that she was trying to be funny by being kind of a bit stuck up.
Yeah.
But she just came across as stuck up rather than funny.
Yeah, definitely. Or just with no sense of humour, you know?
Yeah.
Crikey.
But I love the bit where they were just quoting Spice Girls songs at her, and she'd get really annoyed.
Oh my gosh, I need to watch that again, actually.
Yeah. Nah,
but yeah, welcome people.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Dog Seduction.
Yeah.
Cue music.
Welcome to the Dork Seduction podcast, where we talk about stuff.
Yeah, well, today we had a little discussion about this girl called Elisa Lam.
Elisa.
Is that Elisa Lam, right? This girl, 21-year-old Canadian student who disappeared in a very unconventional manner. Do you want to highlight on that?
Yeah, well, basically, she's staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. Is it the Charles Hotel or something like that? Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles, which is interesting in itself in that this hotel, it's had many instances of serial killers staying there, including Richard Ramirez, who is, I can't remember which one he is now. Isn't he, was he the Boston Strangler or something like that? He was
that rings a bell.
He's one of those serial killers. And another one called Jack Unterwegen. I've never really heard of him before, but he stayed there.
Yeah.
And Elizabeth Short, who was a victim of the Dahlia murder.
Oh, the famous one,
Yeah,
yes.
she was known to have stayed there shortly before she died. So there's like lots of these different kind of coincidences. But it's also been a place for like suicides as well. So it kind of adds to the mystery, really, of this whole thing. But basically, she was staying at this hotel. She'd been travelling around America, I think. She used social media a lot to tell people about her travels and stuff like that. And so she was staying in Los Angeles, and she had like a history of depression and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
She was actually bipolar, so...
She was.
It was more than just like usual depression. It was something she couldn't control as much as like other people might be able to. But she was reportedly quite happy at this time. So whatever happened to her happened very quickly. But basically, how she was found in the water tank of the hotel, but she'd been missing for a week, and literally no one.
They only looked because there was a strange taste in the water, wasn't there?
Yeah, they'd noticed, some residents had noticed, like, low water pressure.
Bloody hell.
But
comes through her finger.
Yeah. They'd known, obviously, that she was missing. Been a good 2 weeks at this point, and so she was eventually found in the water tank. But what makes it more mysterious is this video that was found, or was recorded on the CCTV, which shows her in an elevator at first, and she's trying to press these buttons, choose the floors, but she's not just like choosing one, she's pressing a load. But the elevator at first doesn't seem to be working, so she goes out of the elevator. She starts looking around in a kind of like odd kind of way, and she gets back in the elevator for a bit, I think.
Almost as if she's being followed in a way.
And then she presses some more buttons. It still doesn't seem to be working. And she gets out again. And then she kind of hangs around the elevator for a little while. And then just seems to wander off.
But it's a very slow move out.
Yeah.
Like every time she looks out the elevator, it's always a build up to peeking around the corner. She does it very slowly, then quickly, like she's almost expecting someone to just be there. And there must be another person or something involved, because we don't see another person, considering where the camera is. But once she does get out of the elevator at one point, she seems to be having some sort of argument or conversation with someone off screen, doesn't she?
I don't know. I find it hard to tell whether she was or not. Because my problem with this is that while what she's doing is odd, she doesn't seem that panicked to me. She seems remarkably relaxed, yet slightly unhinged. Not unhinged is the right word, but you can tell something's not right. It's not like obvious. It's not. It's quite.
It's not obvious, but there is something in her movements that just suggests either she wasn't right in the head at that point in time, she starts like it's as if she is talking to someone. I don't know if she was, or she's just
I couldn't tell whether that was just her hand movements.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
But there's some seriously weird, some serious juju going on with like what's going on in her head. What's happening right here? Yeah. And obviously, if you saw this anywhere else, it would be fine because you just think weird person. But because you know how things are going to end, it's a bit more of a full stop. It's like I think I told you earlier. When you watch a film that's set in say 1938, and it's. No matter how bad the film is for the characters, you know it's 1938 and it's going to get a whole lot worse in Germany,
Yeah.
And it's going to swallow them up and they don't know about it. Mordor's right around the corner. And,
it's kind of like the Titanic. You know what's going to happen. You know people are going to drown.
What's going to happen. You're waiting for it. You paid for this now. But, so no matter what happens, the ultimatum is there, and history doesn't lie.
So basically, a lot of people believe she was murdered. And because of this video, it seems obvious to some people that there's more than one person there. And that's like a reasonable theory in a way, because there's clearly something not right. Even if, I did say before that it's not, she doesn't seem jumpy or panicky as such, does she? I mean, that's what I got from the video.
She doesn't seem jumpy, but then again, only a sane person at that point would probably seem jumpy. Evidence from what she's been doing up until that point where she does leave the elevator, and the elevator just starts going on different floors after all those buttons. She wouldn't be jumpy if something was wrong with her in the head at that point.
Yeah.
Or she was really depressed.
I had one theory that the person it may have been someone she knew, and that it was kind of playing almost a hide and seek kind of thing. Whether that person existed or whether it was part of her imagination, because as it's been said, she was bipolar, and she had been taking drugs for this. Not recreational, the usual drugs. Although there are like theories that she may have. Some people who viewed the video thought she may have taken ecstasy, but that's disputed by other people, and it's disputed by, admittedly, a slightly dubious. The toxicology tests that they take.
Oh, really? So there wasn't any drugs in the system?
Yeah, but the toxicology test it's been questioned by some people, because even the people who took it weren't entirely convinced by it, because they put down the death as accidental, but equally at one point someone ticked another box before crossing it out. So there's some people are saying that that's a sign that even they weren't sure about it. Also, it's useful to point out that toxicology tests aren't always, they're not necessarily reliable. They can be faked. Well, not just that, they don't always come out with the information first time. That's one point.
So they're not completely reliable. It's a bit more of a 50-50 or something else like that.
Yeah, it's not concrete kind of evidence really. And there's always the theory that they could have been meddled with as well. But this kind of one-person theory, it's kind of, as I said, she there's no panic in her. And obviously, if there is a person, it's off-screen. But as we said, she's not necessarily kind of in the sanest moment at that time, possibly.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
To me, you'd feel there'd be a bit, even if she was a little bit in a different mind, you'd still think she'd be slightly panicky or something like that.
Definitely.
She seems, to me, it almost seems like she might have had something like some kind of sedative almost.
Maybe.
Kind of calming her or something like that. So maybe she was. Maybe she was on her there's the theory that she hadn't taken her drugs or she'd lost them or something like that. So I'm not sure about that one.
But still, it wouldn't. I don't think, even if there were drugs, would it explain the whole situation of her being in the water tank? I mean, her clothes were off, right? Yeah,
she was found naked in the tank, and
what strikes me there is why would the killer take off the clothes? Obviously, killers aren't known for their celibacy, but why would he bother to take the clothes off? To keep the clothes dry, probably that's what a person who's willingly getting in a tank would do, wouldn't they?
Yeah, this is where it gets kind of complicated, because she's found in the water tank, and this kind of brings up different complications, because not only how did she get out there, in the sense that a lot of these doors have alarms. So a normal resident of a hotel or someone staying at a hotel, they're the kind of general route you'd go, but someone did point out the fire exits. You could get to the water tanks from there.
I see.
But someone pointed out that in general, you'd think that the staff would know more about that than the resident. Unless obviously this Elisa Lam did know about these fire exits and could tell that you could get there from there. So
then again, when you're on drugs, you'll try anything, won't you?
Yeah.
To explore and do stuff yourself.
If you were in one thing that interests me, if you were in some kind of like psychotic state, which some people have suggested you may have been in, would you be able to do that? Would you be able to get through all these fire exits? That you might not know about. Surely that kind of that does make me suspicious how she got out there on her own.
I wouldn't say she'd find it too hard. I mean, she'd made it up there at that point. Obviously a bit of a slow pace, but she touching all the buttons on the elevator. She's obviously, I don't know what's going on with her. We could do this forever,
Yeah.
We're speculating what's wrong with her, but I don't think. I think the scary thing about psychotic people is that they are still there. Like, they can operate normally on a level of just going through fire doors and using things. That's what makes them scary. Because if they were psychotic, but they were just bumbling idiots by themselves, not doing anything, that would be a bit more easier to handle, I say. But I think she probably could have done it herself. She probably could have got up there. She'd been in the building for maybe just not too long, but being a student, And being a student, you do want to get out and stretch your legs a bit, especially in your building. So
I do think that I feel personally she would have had to known about the fire exits somehow.
Yeah,
because they did say that the fire exits weren't. You'd have to know where they all are and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what someone was saying. So I don't know. I kind of feel you'd have to know that was the way to go. You'd have to know that the other doors had alarms or something like that. The other theory is that they did use the normal doors, but it was someone at the staff who knew about the doors, so he could make sure that the alarms wouldn't go off somehow.
I'm sure the staff would have pointed out the fire exits anyway, because you kind of have to do that, don't you?
Yeah, you have to. Obviously, you know where they are, but you'd have to know that you could get to a water tank from there.
Exactly. So I don't think there's any mystery in the fact that she did get out, that she could have got there by herself. But did she do it alone? That's the thing. You don't know. There's not cameras. There's probably not cameras on the actual floor itself. So whoever was there waiting for her would have had no problem staying undetected at that point.
Yeah.
I doubt there might have been cameras on the stairs, but then again, this is a building for residents. It's not exactly high key or high manner, regardless of its black history, But I don't think it would be that hard for someone to slip in and out inconspicuously without being seen. And in fact, if the fire exit is one of those kind of, I know it's Los Angeles, but there are some that you could probably just stack a couple of trash cans up and just enter that way, couldn't you? Really?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is all speculation. I don't know the truth myself. This is all speculation, people. Don't worry. But I wouldn't think that the cameras would cover everything in a place like that.
Well, there's another interesting point here that about 1 minute of footage was supposedly edited from the video.
Oh.
And that's quite suspicious to some people.
Hang on, this is news to me.
Yeah, well, the police, LAPD, who put the video out, edited at least 1 minute of the footage, and that's their excuse was that it was quite grainy or something like that it wasn't very useful. Some people have suspected that either there was someone there or someone who is related to the mystery but cannot be shown or something like that for some reason. So not necessarily like it could be someone who knew her that maybe knew something about the murder but can't be identified to the murderer. So that, say for example, if someone's fearing for their life, they can't be shown because they might, go after them. If you get what I mean, it could be something like that.
Maybe.
The other theory is that it's the person who did it, and the police are trying to protect the person who did it.
Maybe, especially with a high-profile case like this. But part of the power of the internet is being able to find a suspect very quickly, especially with like Anonymous and all these hackers. They could probably see a face, and someone's going to recognise it somewhere.
Yeah.
But that is just a bit too shady. Like, oh, it's grainy. That's not a good enough reason. If it's grainy, you still leave it in because it's part of the video. It's part of. You don't see grainy footage taken out of other suspected videos, do you? I mean,
no.
It just makes you wonder how much. Was it at the very end of the video, or was it?
It's not
in
been
the middle?
specified where it was edited. That's the frustrating thing. Because I couldn't tell it'd been edited from watching.
I couldn't tell. I thought, if it's been edited, well done. I mean, either nothing really did happen in the edit they took out, or it's. I thought they were going to say something like, we kind of whitewashed this other character out, so it just looks like she's talking to herself.
Yeah,
but that is very strange.
It's while suspicious, there could be a good explanation for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's led. This is going on to kind of another theory. It has led people to believe that she may have been assassinated, and that by this is getting Illuminati, basically. There's an Illuminati theory for everything, and there's even one for this. And I have to admit, it's not as unbelievable as others I've read. There is there could be some credibility to this. So basically, the reason why the person might not have been shown is because they're a high profile, related to the government, who's basically assassinated her, because apparently she had posted on one of her social media sites an article by the Huffington Post or something like that about how the American government had, or one of the American kind of military kind of things had ordered or were looking into getting these almost like invisibility cloaks. But what they are is that basically it's how light reflects onto them. So at a certain, obviously not going to be completely invisible, but it's something you can put like round the middle of you or something like that, and you can become invisible if the light's shining on it in the right way, apparently. That's what I think. I'm not entirely sure on this. It wasn't explained kind of that well. But
that's quite a stretch, but also a very interesting stretch. Like, because we're getting closer to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that could be a real thing. I'm not entirely sure. It's an article from Huffington Post, after all.
Of course.
What gives a bit of credibility to this theory for some people is the fact that a building right next to the hotel was called the Invisible Light Agency. Apparently, this is apparent, and they would have been involved in the making of these invisibility cloaks. Apparently,
my goodness.
I mean, this could be completely true, or it could be completely fake. We'll leave it up to the listeners to decide. So basically, that's kind of, and so basically, the idea is that some government kind of official ordered that she be assassinated. Because she knew too much about this whole invisibility cloak thing.
It could be, yeah. I mean, in hindsight, it would make sense because only people of that high caliber could make such a cover-up.
Yeah.
And plus, like Los Angeles, going back to cults, it isn't, it's known for its cult activity.
Yeah.
There are different sectors of different religions there, and some are like free love cults, but it range from those to, the darker stuff where they have rituals. But, it's a Tinseltown. It's
Scientology, isn't it, from there?
Scientology, yeah, there you go. It's got a heavy Mormon presence.
Yeah.
But although it's Scientology who would hound people. And it's, in this day and age, there are people that probably find shit out. There's lots of shit out there, I guarantee you, that we're not supposed to know. And she could have just been an innocent bystander who saw something.
Yeah.
And it was, whoops, that was a no-no. You never know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is part of the theory I read, but I just thought that I could be getting this from the video I watched about this. But one reason to explain why she may have been on the roof was that she was trying to get to this invisible light agency. Because it is. I think I've read it was literally like the building right next to it, so you could probably either see it or get onto it. from that roof of this hotel.
Maybe.
And the one I think thing is that she may have been trying to hide in the water tank because she might have seen something that scared her.
That is crazy. That is so crazy.
So that's one possibility. My only problem with these kind of things is everyone shares these kind of articles. They don't kill everyone who shares these articles. They didn't even kill the person who wrote the article.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
Oh, that's good.
So you I don't know. I'm a bit sceptical. I mean, how much would she really know about it after all?
I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I mean, it's a lot to accept, you know.
Yeah. I mean, if all this stuff exists, then it could be perfectly credible theory, I suppose, in a way. But I'm in general, I'm a bit sceptical of this whole Illuminati stuff. It's kind of it can be quite fanciful sometimes.
Yeah, it's a pool for stories and creativity, you know. And I think to myself, I'm sure there are groups out there, and you know, if you are that powerful, you might let people find out about it, just so they know, like, don't even bother trying to step on our toes, you know, because if you have something that might be there, as opposed to just knowing it's there, you know, it's a lot more creepy and unnerving and less likely to be, you know, opposed.
I can understand the idea that governments do things that are secretive, and they probably have done things that are wrong and that they don't really want the public to know about. I mean, you find out loads of times that the FBI or the CIA were investigating someone, you know, illegally or something like that. You find out those kind of things years later on. So, you know, it's not. I can understand why some people like to believe that kind of stuff, but in general, I'm not swayed by it too much.
No,
I mean, I suppose there are kind of credible arguments out there against some things. I just don't think this is really one of them.
No.
Well, I think the whole one of the reasons why these Illuminati things exist is because the mystery of things, because this is unsolved.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It gives them a way in.
If this had an ending to it, it wouldn't be as captivating as it is. We just need to know things. That's our problem. Like, and we're never going to like the answer. It's always the chase and never the result. You know, once we know the result, then even the only thing that could actually make it worth the chase is if we found out there were dark gods involved and the cults actually had magic working for them. And if we find out it's CIA, it's just going to be, well, there you go. It's the CIA.
Yeah.
Well done. The Illuminati, you know.
Yeah. My whole thing about Illuminati is, why are you so worried about it in a way? It's kind of, there's not much you can do about it anyway, so...
Exactly. I mean, what do they stand for? Some people say they're Satan worshippers, and you think to yourself, okay, well, stay away if you need to. And then others say, well, they're controlling the media, and you think to yourself, well, if I decide to read a book instead, maybe life wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I don't need to listen to this music, and it's not affecting me personally. Like, they're not making a song that's secretly making me want to go out and join the army.
Yeah.
So I usually think to myself, well, there's always going to be those conspiracy theorists. Yeah. That's fine. And that's fine. Like, some people need to know the truth, and it's good to know the truth.
Yeah.
But I take comfort in the fact that whatever the truth is, hopefully it's not affecting my day-to-day life. And those people that chase it, I'm sure it's not affecting their day-to-day life, but it's a truth thing. It's fascinating, and it's a fun thing to find out about. It scratches that curiosity that we have, you know. Like, on a lesser note, Nessie. I mean, we kind of know Nessie doesn't exist, but we like the theory.
Yeah. At the end of the day, people like talk about kind of how our freedoms are being entailed and something like that, and it is kind of ironic when it's kind of, you know, white people making up most of these theories. When you think we're relatively free. I mean, we have things that are annoying and kind of a bit, you know, get on our nerves, but we're relatively free. You know,
we are relatively free. I mean, they talk about getting controlled and oppressed. You know, it reminds me of when you see someone black or someone of a different colour say something to a white person, and it's on YouTube, like say something derogatory. Yeah. And then all these commenters or people will say, see, they're rising up against us now. And it's like, now we're even. For 200 years, we're even now. And you think, oh my God, you know, it's such paranoia of a country a world at this point, and they need to feel this conflict. And I'm getting too deep now, but get back to my point. It's just, Illuminati is not going to affect you. They're not infringing. I don't think they're infringing their power unless they. After all this corruption and scandal, my paycheck's gone down 5 pence or something like that. But, although there's one thing I don't agree with that's happening in America at the moment, and that's that there's a Texas minister who's an education minister. He's replacing all the evolution books with creationist books.
Oh, Jesus.
And they're gonna, apparently it's already passed and they're trying it out there, and it's fundamentally forcing this belief on kids while they're still developing. And it's not a factual thing. It's just it's selfish, if anything. That's the real scare I think people should have to focus on.
It does make me laugh why people say, oh, but evolution's taught in schools, why can't creationism be taught at school? Well, evolution is an actual theory. Creationism isn't a theory in any kind of idea of what a theory is. It's a
well-written and shared opinion.
I mean, even the more kind of slightly intellectual kind of creationist arguments, they're still pretty sketchy, to be honest.
And there are intellectual creationists. To point that out, there are professors that believe in have their faith and stuff. It's not an uncommon thing.
The thing about creationism, a lot of like the kind of intellectual, it's not necessarily the kind of the story of the Bible where God created two animals or whatever one day. It's more a sense of that there's a kind of designer of the world.
But I've always thought it's kind of like evolution is a hard theory to get around for some people, and to go all that way back, some people just prefer the whole thing of, you know what, fuck it, we just came into being out of nothing, and essay solved. There's a lot that I feel like it's us wanting to know how everything works and where these mysteries are, the answers to them. And obviously we'll invent these answers that make no sense, except for the fact that it's what do you call it? Convenient. It's nice, short, convenient. Answered. Let's write. We can complete this section. Move on. They can't. Some things we just aren't going to know.
I think the problem with conspiracy theories is you can't prove that they're not true as much as you can't prove they are true. That's what's the most frustrating thing about them, I think, is you kind of, in your mind, you're saying, oh, that's rubbish, but you still can't really produce the conclusive evidence to say they're not true sometimes.
Exactly.
And
that's frustrating.
Because that gives them a feeling of credibility as well. So that kind of...
But then it's just a matter of... the argument isn't going on because you both have points that you're putting across, but because you both have a lack of points that you're pointing out. And it's just, well, then there's no argument in the end. Something like just now, like maybe we're just supposed to not know those things. Things like Elisa Lam, though, are things that we probably should know. I mean, because it's kind of like, her body was in the water, it's affected people's lives, and it's just the fact that it happened. It seemed to have happened just out there in daylight. It's creepy.
I mean, she was murdered. You kind of like to feel that. Well, the death is suspicious. Let's just say that. It's kind of it'd be interesting. Well, not just interesting to know, but you kind of it's always good to know when someone's died suspiciously how they actually died. But we were talking about the Bible, weren't we, or kind of creationism? So we can link this into I told you earlier I had something that I'd researched something about related to the Bible with this.
Yes, I wanted to hear this.
This is an idea that the numbers she was typing in are verses from the Bible, particularly the Book of John. And this is an interesting theory that it's to do with Aleister Crowley, believe it or not.
Holy shit. Yes, I have.
He was obviously this famous occultist, and it's this belief that he may have been possessing her body at this time, and that she was typing in these numbers, which are these verses code, and that I mean, what the point of it was, where it was going to take her or anything, whether it's just Crowley communicating through her, where it was going, I don't know. It's just one theory that's put out there that I find interesting. Obviously, I find that
very interesting. It's one of the I don't believe it, but I still find it quite true. Crowley, as you know, the Beast, is one of the creepiest Englishmen actually that's ever lived. He's involved in rituals in the desert. He had a cult. They lived in Spain for a few years where they just had sex orgies all the time and involving animals as well. And
dangerous person. And also,
I think
what almost more dangerous is the amount of idiots that believed him. People like David Bowie and Jimmy Page. You're thinking, Christ, even those idiots kind of can fall for them.
It's kind of like a more successful Charlie Manson, really.
Yeah.
Although the success could be that Charles Manson is alive. And, but he inspired people. But obviously, inspiration can take many forms. It doesn't mean these people that look on this person and take something from them doesn't mean they're going to like him or they're going to go out and kill people. But
I suppose that is a point, but still, they kind of gave him credibility to a lot of people. He's quite...
That's the problem. It supports the idea that if you do something really nasty and horrible, you will become famous for it and maybe even glorified. There's a really creepy actual story linking back with Loch Ness. I don't know if I told you, but there was an old house where Crowley took up residence for about 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
And he was actually surviving on bread and water because he was part of some sort of Satanist sect of spirit and magic, and he was invoking a ritual where he calls in all these demons into this house. And it's a ritual that takes about 8 months or so, or a year to complete. Halfway through, it's a very dangerous ritual. You're basically invoking these demons, these high demons, to come into the house, into our reality, and then you have to finish it. Or else it's a tainted area. And apparently he got bored halfway through it, I think about 6 months, and then went off to do another thing. He didn't finish the ritual. So everyone that's ever owned the house also, funnily enough, talks about how they can't stay there for more than, say, a couple of months because they always hear weird scratchings at the door at night. Just things touching them, and which you think to yourself, well, that's not too bad for demons, But one person did fall down and suffer a terrible head injury, I think, from something he can't explain. It's a creepy thing to think about, an abandoned shack. Oh, I know, it is owned by someone, but it's basically an abandoned shack near the edge of Loch Ness. So it's, there you go.
I think you remember watching, because I've watched a few videos about Crowley on YouTube. I vaguely remember hearing about that in one of the documentaries.
Yes. There was a man who actually went and stayed there the night, and he said he couldn't stay another day because of what he heard at night. And it makes you wonder of all this credibility. Obviously, these guys they were interviewing were into their own sort of magic. So you always think, well, you're if you really want to believe in something, you're gonna hear shit. It's like if you're looking at something in the dark, you'll see shapes moving because it's something you're making for yourself.
Also, it is Scotland. It's windy up there. You're going to hear noise. That's right. You are.
I just want to get a stamp saying debunked and just stamp on this file. But I mean,
it's that whole thing of what you can't explain. You sometimes you just go for the oddest theory sometimes. Just because it to you explains it. But.
Exactly. And what I like to think is, because this happened very early on, I like to think that one of the monsters he summoned, fell into the water, and that's Nessie.
That's a good theory.
That is a lovely theory,
But getting back to this thing from the verses from the Bible, though, my only problem with this is these people are getting it from the numbers they think they're typing in, but you can't see for sure the numbers that she was typing in.
Yeah, it's very blurry.
I'm a bit sceptical about that. Maybe if you've seen the numbers on the elevator in the actual hotel, maybe you might be a bit credibility there. But I'm just in general there, because there's another theory about. Have you heard of the elevator ritual?
Is it if you press a certain number of floors, the door will open up to a secret level.
Well, how it's explained in this thing, it's very similar, but basically, I think that's what happens in the end. But it's quite a long thing. At first, I suppose it depends on the floors in the hotel. I think really, but in this one, it was said that you take the elevator to level 9.
Right.
You get out. If I've got to remember it now because it is quite complicated. Basically, from what I remember is you get out at level 9 if there's someone there. If there's a little girl there or something like that, you get out. If there's not, you stay in there. But you, oh no, what it is, someone on you stop at level 9. Someone gets in, a young woman gets in, but you can't look at her, you can't talk to her, and then you have to press level 1. But if you end up on level 10, there's a possibility that you're in this time portal. So you get out with this woman, but you still can't talk to her or look at her.
Right.
And so eventually she will ask you, where are you going, or something like that. And at some point you end up in the time portal. That last bit's a bit sketchy, even from what the video I was watching. It wasn't like fully explained how you end up in this time portal. So, but basically there's this idea that she was playing this game called the Elevator Ritual that she might have believed was taking her to a different time portal, which she could have been playing under the influence of some psychotic thing, or it could have just been that was what she was trying to do. I mean, she was, as I said, bipolar. Yeah. And, you know, when you're in kind of... Because she did post that at times that she thought life wasn't worth living and stuff like that. And that it was a real struggle for her. And at times when, I suppose, when you're in that kind of mind state, you can want to do anything to escape. And so you can be slightly kind of, you know, what's the word? Suspectable to this? No, not suspectable.
Yeah, susceptible.
That's the word, yeah. So, I mean, that's one possibility. I think that's it's a bit odd. It's going a bit towards the kind of conspiracy theory thing again.
Well, I can dig the whole susceptibility thing, because, like we said before, if you really want to believe something, you can make it real within a certain amount of logic.
Yeah.
But I really like that theory, and even though I know it can't be true, it's such a cool thing to think about. Like, there is a secret, and it would so fit in with the whole aura of the hotel itself. Yeah. You know, the strange happenings. Because I remember Silent Hill did something like this in one of their games, where they obviously you enter the other world, and then what was floor B1 is like now floor B42 or something like that. It's just something incredibly creepy about stuff like that. Yeah, it's really elevators can be quite a really good way to tell a story, but unfortunately we found her body, so she's not in any trouble.
It has made me slightly kind of
after seeing The Grudge,
that's made me feel slightly wary of getting an elevator again.
Yeah, like the way, like especially Japanese horror, where they take modern invention and make it into something creepy, you know.
Yeah, they're cool. I've seen a few Japanese horror films, and they're...
I know.
Yeah, well, what was I going to say about this one, though? The only... it doesn't explain really how she ended up in the water tank, though, that whole... elevator.
That's still like the second part of the mystery is still so convoluted. Like, why were the clothes off? Where are the clothes? What was she doing in there?
There is an interesting thing about there was there was a rape test done to test whether she'd been raped, but the results were suspiciously never actually released.
Really?
Although it's been said that she wasn't raped, but the results were never actually released.
That is shady.
That's what I read.
First the editing, and now the withholding of information.
Yeah,
that is just shady as maybe
it could
for
be
the parents'
if
sake.
someone,
I don't know,
yeah, it could be the parents' sake, or it could be someone quite powerful raped her.
It could be,
someone that enough money that it doesn't get out. I suppose
you can confirm if it was raped, if she was raped, and also you could probably get some sort of DNA sample as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could also get the sense of that might have been the way she was acting if she was being, followed or something like that, or this guy was preying on her or something like that. You could, that could be an explanation of why she was acting the way she did.
Yeah. bloody hell. It's something that can go really dark.
Yeah.
If you think about it hard enough. But it's just something that we can't answer until... And I think the more unable you are to answer something, the more it probably is a cover-up sometimes. And you just don't know. You just don't know.
Yeah, I think with these kind of things, it's more interesting to discuss the theories. Because, I mean, I can't really put my finger on a particular one that really... Because the problem is there's things that kind of explain the first bit, but wouldn't necessarily explain the second bit to me.
Should we go with the Crowley thing?
You want to believe that one?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But it's just as justifiable as any other one we have anyway. So yeah, Alexander Crowley, debunked and solved.
Yeah.
Apparently he's still muttering his mumbo-jumbo from beyond the grave, although he got quite placid in his final years, didn't he? He had a grandson or something, or a son, and he started to regret everything he'd done up until that point.
I don't remember that bit. I thought he was still odd towards the end.
Oh, he was probably still odd. I mean, he probably had a just all white chess set, with no black pieces. He's one of those kind of guys.
Yeah.
But no, apparently he did. There were some accounts of him regretting his choices up to that point, and with this kid that he'd raised, he tried to put, because he was quite old for being a father as well. So he tried to make these last, years of his redeemable to his life, but obviously he's fucked up so many other people at that point. So
it's not what
because he found a wife. Yeah, exactly. Fucked up a piece of Scotland. Created the Loch Ness monster. Went into the desert and summoned some demons. Left his gay lover out there. I fucked up about 2 wives who I think he mentally tortured.
Yeah.
Then let's not even get into the whole Spanish villa thing. But yeah. Other than that, hey, well done.
Right, good guy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely guy. Well, anyway, that was Elisa Lam. Anything else you want to say about it, Matt?
I don't think so.
This is the part of the show where about half an hour later I'll have wanted to say something and I'll kick myself.
Yeah.
But I think we pretty much covered everything we need to about her anyway.
I mean, the only thing I forgot to mention was she lost her phone shortly before. Or it was stolen, possibly. Who knows? That's another thing. But the only reason that I was going to mention that is it may have panicked her, may have caused her to go into a kind of... Because she was quite attached to it, from what I believe, because of the whole social media thing.
I see.
So it could have induced some kind of... they'll be having bipolar as well. It's possible. I might be misunderstanding what bipolar is like, but it could have,
Well, just in case any CIA directives or, Illuminati eyes wide shut kind of style men are listening, that's all the information we have, I'm afraid, because there's no reason to go assassinating us. We don't know too much, so leave our little lives alone, and we'll keep watching those Rihanna music videos. Thank you very much.
As I said, I know nothing about the invisibility cloaks. I don't know whether they exist or not. I'm assuming it's the same. I read.
They just see in the corner there's nothing, but you just hear a shh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so shall we end it there?
Yep.
Brilliant.
Okay.
We've been Matt and Chris. Hello, and it was very nice to have you guys on the show.
Yeah. Ta-ta. And good riddance.
Ta-ta for now.